He took it over to the Russians, and the Russians were delighted to have it. So let me briefly explain what they call scalar wave. It goes through time and space. In other words, it leaves on this side of the globe, and it does not travel through the Earth. It does not travel around the Earth. It leaves this point on the globe, and then, with no way of tracking it, appears on another place in the globe, and they have no way of knowing where it's going to hit or that it's about to hit, except birds disappear. Now, here's what scalar wave can do. It can cause large portions of the atmosphere to get very cold or very hot. Well, now, what can they do with that? Well, they can cause huge snowstorms. Now, this is military implications. They can destroy a nation by stopping a military, by causing a giant, and of course we've seen very large northern storms come in and just blanket a city, dump 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet of snow in an area. They can also cause large portions of the atmosphere to get super hot. Well, what does that do? With that, you can cause a tornado or you can cause a hurricane. Literally, there have been hurricanes or tornadoes formed in areas where they have never been before. And then, of course, by causing this area to be hot, and then they simply move it over, this area to be hot, they can march a hurricane or a tornado into your back door if they want to. Now, I recall just talking to you just this past week. You live in the desert Southwest. We won't mention exactly the area. But you told me that there was some very unusual storms that the people were saying never had been in. Like, matter of fact, this area had never experienced a tornado, and now they were, for the first time, putting out tornado warnings. That could be scalar wave, which is also associated very similar to the high-altitude auroral research project that Nick Begich talks about called HAARP. Yes, they can do these kind of things.
The moral code of the elite, again, may I state, is that they must tell you everything they're going to do before they do it. If you know how to interpret their buzzwords, you can know in advance everything that the elite are going to do to America, everything they're going to do to your dinner table, everything that's going to happen about oil prices. So at this point, I would like to give some of the buzzwords that were actually given to me just hours ago by this elitist. Now, this is going to be very unusual. Please attempt to think in terms of the mindset of the elite so that you can understand their buzzwords. And here they go. I'm going to actually give you 7 of them. He gave me many. But I'm going to take 7 of these expressions that were buzzwords and attempt to interpret them for you so that you will be able to try to begin to understand things like oil storm and other things that they're telling you. Oftentimes in Hollywood movies, they'll tell you what they're going to do, like they did in oil storm. They may tell you through the national media. As much as I dislike it, you can't trust most of what they say. But every now and then they tell you what they're going to do. So let me give you a few of their buzzwords. Here goes. Number 1. Oil is priced in dollars. Now, understand that I was talking with this elitist on the phone, and we'd been talking for quite some time, maybe 30 or 45 minutes. And he begun to say some things that I knew he was trying to tell me something. 87 years of age, remember, I had been his chaplain on the pipeline, and all of a sudden, he begins to tell me some things by way of what I sensed were buzzwords. And the first one he said, oil is priced in dollars. Now, to many people, if they heard that over the media, they probably wouldn't give it a second thought. To me, it said immense things, because you've been hearing lately that the oil-producing countries of the world would like to have a basket of currencies that they can begin to price oil in. And this individual said to me, whether the world likes it or not, they still have to sell oil using dollars. Now, that will end at some point in the future. But he said, oil is priced in dollars. Well, I took the other things he had said in the course of this conversation, such as the dollar will lose 30 to 50% of its purchasing power or its value. It will depreciate that much in the next 12 months' time, and other things he had said, and put it together with this to interpret his buzzword as follows. Watch the dollar, and you will know by its decline what gas prices are going to be at the gas pump 30 days from now. Now, you drive back and forth to work. If a person, as a person said to me just this past week, said, oh, I have to drive 2 hours every day in order to get to work. Well, jobs are hard to find. Sometimes you might have to go a long ways. Well, if you are spending that much for gasoline every day, and the price of gasoline goes from $2.50 a gallon to $5 a gallon, this is a major issue.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to know of gasoline at the gas pump is going? Here's how you tell. Watch the devaluation of the dollar. Look how much your groceries go up in price at the grocery store. See how much the things go up at the hardware store in price. Watch the value, and you will know in relation to the devaluation of the dollar where you can expect to be in gasoline prices, because from this point on, gasoline prices aren't going down, gasoline prices are going up.
Mm-hmm.
Second buzzword. Financial deficit spending is awash in paper. I wrote down his actual words just like he said them. Financial deficit spending is awash in paper. Then he went on to explain some paper items, and I knew he was trying to tell me something. It was very obvious that he wanted me to know this just in case I happened to do it. Don't trust any financial instrument. I don't care what it is. It's worth the paper it's written on. Yeah. He went on to mention a few things. T-bills. Don't trust them. Oh, I know. For as long as anyone on the earth has traded crude oil, the nations of the world have used the American dollar as the standard currency or the reserve currency of the world. That's is the proper word of using.
That's right.
And they have bought T-bills because they knew that every other currency, no matter what it might be, might fluctuate drastically, but the American dollar would maintain its purchasing value. And so they bought T-bills, and the world holds them today. Don't trust them. No, it's written on a piece of paper.
Gold.
Don't trust T-bills. He said financial deficit spending is awash in paper, and he went on to mention things. You can't trust a Federal Reserve note. It's written on a piece of paper. You can't trust your retirement account. It's written on a piece of paper.
Stocks,
you can't
bonds.
trust bonds or stocks. They're written on a piece of paper. No paper. Are you listening?
No paper.
I know I've got a microphone here. I don't want to shout too
paper.
loud. May I say it again? No paper. Get out of paper. Get out of paper of any kind. It's worth what it's written on. Don't hold paper. And he went on to elaborate on some of the things, especially the Federal Reserve note, in how it was going to devalue. It is worth what it's written on, folks. A piece of paper could be worthless tomorrow. The currency of the elite is not paper. The currency of the elite is always tangibles. Not just gold and silver, even though that is the greatest of the tangibles.
Real estate? Did he mention what real estate is going to do?
Houses, land. Real estate's going to continue to go down in value, but it's tangible. Wheat, corn, crops, farms, anything but paper. Get out of paper. And if you have to borrow the money to buy it, it's worthless, because they could take it away from you tomorrow morning if you couldn't make your payment. It's nothing but a piece of paper. If you buy it on a mortgage, if you buy it on a time, if the bank lends you the money, you own it only through the piece of paper that they loaned you the money on. It's worthless to you. It's got to be paid for. It must be tangible in your hand. You must hold it without a mortgage. The elite don't trust paper. They've gotten out. Gold and silver is the currency of the elite.
Is that indirectly saying that they better start getting out of debt?
Immediately. Yesterday.
Get out of debt.
Not today, yesterday.